Hey YouTube, Cardfight here. I'm here today to do a profile on my standard Tachikaze. Let's get started. Obviously, our starter is Dragon Egg. It's not like there's a choice, and even if there was, it would do the same thing as every other starter in standard format. So, that said, let's look at our triggers. We are playing 8 crit, 4 draw PG, and 4 heal. I've spent a lot of time playtesting this deck, for it coming out now, so I was pretty prepared for it by the time it got here. I know the deck pretty well. So some people might want to know why I'm playing crits instead of fronts. So in my playtesting, crits are just better. They just flat out work more consistently with the deck. Your vanguards tend to attack for very big numbers, and when you have a vanguard you can swing for a very big number, it's a good thing to have the threat of a crit behind that attack. Not to mention, other than just like what I've found, if you pay any attention to the Japanese meta, almost every Tachikaze deck that's ever topped in Japan just plays crits. So there's that. To the grade 1 lineup, playing our 4 Sonic Noah. This card is pretty good. Puts him on hit pressure, gives your guys some equip gauges. But to be quite honest, he's probably my least favorite of the grade 1s in the deck. Like, he's good, but he's like not that good. But he's still pretty good, if you know what I mean. Yeah, good card, but not my favorite grade 1. Also playing for Vicious Claw. This card is pretty good. Play it, gives itself an equip gauge right away, and when he dies, you can add his equip gauge to your hand. It's a good card. Replaces itself immediately. And then for last grade 1, we're only playing 12, is 4 Scape Terra, and also a really good grade 1. Just drop it on an Excel circle, attack for 18, have someone retire it, and then add it back to your hand. It's a good card. Like most Excel decks, we have a lower grade 1 count because the deck's more aggressive and works better. For the grade 2s, we're playing 12 of. We have our 4 Mega Rex, the boss card, grade 2 of the deck. Very good. He attacks, he eats someone, draws a card, and then he can give himself an equip gauge and buff for every gauge he has. So he sacrifices things to draw cards, so it converts on-field offense back into defense. Then he gets really big. It's a very good card. Next we have our 4 light tops. Another good card. When he dies, you can add up to 2 of his gauges to your hand. Pretty good. Like him, he can definitely bolster your hand. It can be difficult sometimes to get 2 gauges on him. Sometimes you'll just eat him with like 1 card just to get the 1 card. But when you do get the 2 cards, it's really good. He's a plus then. Retiring him becomes advantageous. Next, playing 3 Savage Raider. This card is also pretty nice. When you drop him, you can just give someone a gauge. So you can drop him, give your Blight Tops a gauge right then there. Use like Sonic Noah or someone else, give him his second gauge, and then you get the full benefit of using him. And then his other ability to, when he swings, to move gauges from one card to another can also be like really good. Like you could have a gauge on something that doesn't even need it and then move it to your Blight Tops. I'm only playing 3 though. For the last grade 2 spot, I want to have room to play 1 more card in the deck that retires things. As much like good things there are as to retire, sometimes the deck feels kind of light in the department of, like, I guess you could call them predators versus prey. So I wanted to have one more predator in the deck. So this guy, he can eat something and give himself plus 10, which is pretty good. And for the grade 3s, we got our 4 Gigarex. Pretty okay card. I'm not like the biggest fan of him. He is pretty good though. He gives their guys their gauges and buffs himself. And then his second skill I've almost never used. I've used it only a couple times, and I've been playing this deck for like a while now. Like at least a month up before like the set was even come out in English. And I haven't used his second skill very many times. It's kind of hard to do it, and yeah, especially when I have gotten to do it. You don't often get to inflict the damage part. Usually by the time you can use him, you've already pushed your opponent to 5. But the skill to buff the front row is the one that we care about the most. So, yep. Our next grade 3 is our 4 Tyrant Deathrex. It's a good card. Works on Vanguard and Rearguard. So that's what's really nice about him, that he's not Vanguard only. When he attacks, eat someone, get a boost for every gauge they had, and kill something in the front. It's a really good card. If it was just Vanguard, it would still be pretty good. Actually, typically prefer like being on him as a Vanguard if I have to pick between like having him in Rearguard or Vanguard or none of the other. Like if I'm gonna be on Gigarex but not see this card, I would rather just be on him as Vanguard. But very good card. And the last is 1 Savage King. This card is pretty good. Don't go too crazy and play like 4 of this, but it's a pretty good card. He gets plus 5 for every gauge he has, so even if he only has 1 gauge, he's a 17. And when he attacks, you can move gauges to him. So you could put gauges. Like you could have a card that doesn't even like utilize gauges. Put them on with like Sonic Noah and Gigarex, and you could just have them move over to this guy who can utilize them for power. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile. As far as how good the deck is, it's pretty good. Like it's not like the best deck, but it is like a pretty good deck, and it can be pretty fun to play. Like in Japan, in the meta before the Extra Booster 2 came out, when this set was like the most recent, this deck topped a lot back then. Like I'm pretty sure I saw it top more than like, definitely saw it topping more than Mega Colony, and I'm pretty sure it topped more than Spikes, like by good margin. And even in the newest meta they have in Japan, it still tops. Not as much as it did, but it's still there. So, thank you for watching.